Call to order the Architectural Review Committee meeting of Monday, May 20th, 2024. May we have a roll call?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Where are we getting all this info from? So, Chair Dozier,
Member McCoy? Member Bowles?
Here.
Member Walsh is excused. Member Fredericks is excused. Member O'Donnell?
Present.
Member
present.
Thank you. Can we have a report on posting of the agenda?
Yes, this meeting was made available.
Thank you. Acceptance of the agenda. The Architectural Review Committee will discuss the order of the agenda, may amend the order, note abstentions, and request consent calendar items be removed from the consent calendar for discussion. Do we have any discussion or acceptance of the agenda?
Motion to accept the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Regarding public comment, this time has been set aside for members of the public to address the Architectural Review Committee on the consent calendar and other agenda items, and items of general interest within the subject matter of the committee. Although the Architectural Review Committee values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, it generally cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. 3 minutes will be assigned for each speaker. Okay, number one, consent calendar. Approval of minutes from, yes. Okay. Seeing none. The following routine matters be acted upon by one motion. Individual items may be removed by the committee for separate discussion at this time. Do we have any modifications to the agenda or accept it as is?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item A, approval of minutes from April 15th, 2022. Okay, great. Thanks. Number two, unfinished business.
Recording in progress.
We're going to move to item number two, unfinished business. A request by Pinnacle Palm Springs LLC for a major architectural application for the construction of a new 4,090 square foot single-family residence on a hillside lot located at 1740 Pinnacle Point, identified as lot number 9, zone PDD 79, and case number 3.4335, with MAJ and 7.1657 AMM. Could we have a staff report, please?
Yes. On September 19th, 2022, the project was reviewed by the ARC for the proposal of a new single-family home on Hillside Lot. The lot is located within PD 79 zoning designation, a 12-unit hillside development. The proposal includes a major architectural application for a new 4,090 square foot, one-story, single-family residence with a pool and spa located on Lot 9 within Pinnacle Point, and an administrative minor architectural application for the reduction of the front yard and side yard setback. Above, you'll see a photo of the lot. On the photo on the left is just a close-up of that lot, and the bottom photo is highlighted area of Lot 9. At this meeting, the ARC members reviewed the architectural elevations, site, and landscape plans and voted to continue the hearing to a date uncertain to allow the applicant to address their major concerns. The ARC had 4 major concerns. One, inconsistent design on all elevations of the building, inadequate shade to the main structure, the LED lights on the front-facing elevation were not put in place, and too many uplights within the landscaped planter areas. Lastly, the Mexican fan palms should have been replaced per ARC. The 2 photos on the bottom are the initial, it's part of the initial submittal. So I've never used this, those angled walls on the front street elevation as well as a little on the right that ARC weren't particularly fond of. So this is just to give you an idea of what was initially submitted. The applicant has since addressed those concerns by first creating a more consistent design on all sides of the building. The angled walls on the front and rear elevations have been removed and replaced with a more modern design overall on all 4 sides. Furthermore, the LED lights on the front-facing elevation were removed completely and replaced with recessed can lights on the exterior patio areas that will comply with the city's lighting ordinance. The floor-to-ceiling windows remain on the west elevation. However, the overhangs, particularly on the west, so right here. So the overhangs, particularly on the west-facing elevation, have been extended out several feet to protect the house from the sun. The overhangs on the west create a large patio and extend between 7 to 13 feet from the house. Other overhangs include 2 to 5 feet on the north and south elevations, as you can see with the dotted lines right there. Oh. So this illustration just offers a demonstration of the sun angles at 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. So you've got the 3 right here and 4 right there, and how much sun actually enters the house at that time. Lastly, the number of uplights in the landscape areas have been reduced from 24 fixtures to 16, and the Mexican fan palm has been replaced with a pygmy date palm. The applicant has also applied for an administrative minor modification application to request a reduction of the front yard setback from 20 feet to 10 feet, and a reduction of the side yard setback from 10 feet to 8 feet, as highlighted above. Per the ordinance listed above, this allows ARC to so there's two sections of the code right there that basically explain the process with the AMM application and what it allows, and ARC is able to modify or to approve these setbacks if they so wish. Furthermore, when approving an AMM application, there are 4 findings that must be met. Staff has analyzed these findings within the report and has found that all findings have been met. So they give their support for the AMM reduction for the front and side setback. These are the updated renderings that the applicant has provided. The color and material board is on the right. There are desert neutral colors that are in harmony with the surrounding area. These are photos of the applicant's previous houses within Pinnacle Point. So they're very similar in design, style, color. It will fit in with the surrounding area. Staff does recommend approval of the application. So staff is suggesting approval of the application subject to the attached conditions of approval. That concludes my report, and the applicant is available for any questions or comments.
Thank you. Is there any questions of staff?
So you mentioned that lighting is in the eaves. You've got 2 layers of eaves. Which layer has the lighting? Because one is angled out and one would shine down.
Working. Those 2 eaves, right? You're wondering where the can lights are?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's in the report. I can find that page. But maybe the applicant has a better, faster answer.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So on that image right there on the screen, there will be on the bottom eave. And then on the other one, since it has if you look at the side section where the sun was pointing at. So it'll be on the top, on the upper
Sir, could you please state your name and address for the record?
address as in,
City where you live?
Palm Desert, sorry. Ruben Fernandez from Palm Desert.
Okay, thank you.
So the lighting will be on the entry, it'll be on the bottom one. On the rear, it'll be on the top one.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any further questions of staff? Seeing none, at this time, we would like to open it to the applicant to make a presentation if they would so like. Okay. Do we have any questions from the audience? Seeing none. And do we have any online participants who wish to ask questions? Okay, thank you. With that, we'll open it up for committee discussion. Member O'Donnell? Okay, no comments. Member McCoy?
My answer.
Okay. Oh,
Actually,
yes, sir.
can I see the drawing back? I think that it's a much better project than it was 2 years ago when we saw it. My only suggestion would be that the stone facade on the front, the squares, that maybe consider changing that into more irregular shapes. Just, I think it'd make the building look richer. That's the only thing I have to say.
Member Thomas?
Just a question for staff. I'm assuming that the AMA request with the two modifications of setbacks, no one is speaking out against those. You haven't had any problems with neighbors and they meet the requirements?
No, so this is part of a 12 lot subdivision, and I've provided the track map in there just so you can kind of see how separated that lot is from the lot adjacent to the north, and there isn't a lot next to it that it will bother or disturb.
Terrific, thank you.
Member Poline?
Yeah, it's been a while since I saw this project, so I'm kind of getting reacquainted with it. Can you pull up the 3D renders? I would kind of like to see these a little bit bigger. I definitely agree that the natural stone material looks a little checkerboardy on the facade. And the thing that kind of really feels awkward to me is that the mass in front of the fire, like right behind that connects the main part of the building to the garage. That sort of the gray frame, that piece, yeah. And it looks
it just doesn't look like it feels like there's sort of three different buildings sort of stuck together, that they don't really feel like they flow. Maybe it's a color issue. Maybe that could be dealt with a little bit more, I don't know. I mean, it looks like a frame with infill in that piece, and I don't know. It just feels a little awkward to me. So that's kind of my comment at this point.
Okay, I just had one question for the applicant. The desert blend gravel, is that consistent with what's been approved for the project and being used on the other homes?
Yes.
Thank you. And then one further question. With the garage being down at another level, and then I think some of the areas that Member Poline is talking about, it shows like on the landscape plan that there's some rocks and boulders there, so those would be used to kind of mitigate or retain the slope and create a transition for the grade?
Yeah, there should be a civil drawing in there as well that shows the retaining boulders.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any further discussion with the committee? Okay, seeing none, do we have a motion?
Sure, I guess I can do it. Motion to approve, to look at just that, I just feel like we need to look at a little bit more around, I'm not asking it to come back, but I think the designer needs to look at the materials on that piece. So I would make a motion to approve with conditions to look at those two masses and see if they can integrate better, as well as looking at a different layout or tile spacing for the natural stone tile.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Member Thomas. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes. Thank you. At this time, we would like to see if there's any new business that would like to be discussed from the planning. No new business, okay. Any comments from the Architecture Review Board to planning or questions? Seeing none? Oh, we have a question?
Can you talk a little bit about the June 17th meeting that you've asked us to calendar?
Okay.
Thank you, Ken.
So happening on the 17th, which is boards, commissions, and committees, the city council, from 5 to 6, I believe. Highlights. A good way for the council and the subcommittees and commissions and so on to stay plugged in so that everybody kind of understands the goals and objectives of the council and how we're all working toward supporting those. So you are all invited, and we hope you all will be able to attend. Tom, you and I are going to talk because there's going to be a brief slide presentation.
Okay.
And you are going to be the guy for ARC giving kind of the background summary
Okay.
for it. And I will help you with graphics and stuff that you'll need. It really happens, it's going to be like, 2 or 3 minutes at most, 2 or 3 slides, and basically kind of a background and overview of the board's accomplishments for the past year.
Okay. And does that meet, will we still have our June 3rd meeting as scheduled?
I don't know right now. We don't have anything on that agenda, so that meeting may be canceled.
Okay, so we'll just wait for further notice on
We'll
that.
wait and see how that one goes, yeah.
Great. Okay.
Speaking of June, I believe I term out.
There's a few of you who turned out.
turned
That's my next thing that I want to
Is
talk
this my
about.
last one, or do I have more?
Well, we're going to find out more. I'll talk with Director Hadwin and see if there's anything else that looks like it's coming up for the June 3rd. Otherwise, this could be your last meeting. Again, I have not seen the recruitment applications that's come in. I've seen one, actually. So I don't know for certain. We may be asking if you guys are willing, those of you who are termed out, to possibly serve a little longer. But we also understand you have lives of your own. So if that's not possible, we'll work those details out with you. But at this time, if we don't have a June meeting, this may be your last meeting.
Okay.
And so if that's the case, and maybe, hopefully this is premature, so we'll have at least one more meeting that we can say, I want to extend a very genuine and sincere thank you to all of you who have served and who have continued to serve beyond your terms on this board and making a difference in terms of intelligent decisions and thoughtful comments on all the designs that are coming before you. So thank each one of you.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
One other question I wanted you to, if I can get somebody to look into, there's a big project going on, I think, at the Alexander Inn, which is on 1425 via Soledad. Can we get somebody, staff to look into that to see if it's, because obviously we haven't looked at anything there, and I think it's an apartment or a hotel that's undergoing a major remodel.
1425 Via Soledad had been operated, I think, as a substance abuse recovery center, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And had been abandoned, I believe, by the previous owner and may have gone into foreclosure. What I understand is that there has been a new buyer, and I don't know much more than that. So you're seeing
Okay.
some cleanup activity, or
There's
what looks
major
like more than
construction,
cleanup?
yeah. There's major construction going on.
Okay, we'll find
Yeah.
out then.
All right.
I'll find out and
Thanks.
communicate back. Anything else?
Okay. With that, the Architecture Review Committee meeting of the City of Palm Springs will adjourn to the next regular scheduled meeting at 5:30 PM, June 3rd, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be adjourned at 6:01. Thank you.
Short and sweet.
Yes.